Hello, everybody. It's
Hi.
Black and White with Brian Rundle and Lana Quest. I am
And we
Brian
are so
Rundle.
coordinated. Look at us.
I, I mean, oh yeah, we got the blue on. We got the well. Lana always looks better than I do, but
Not true.
it's
Not true.
we've got the color coordination going on. It's
That's
black
right.
and white, and we're wearing blue.
That's right. The
With Brian
Democrats,
Rundle
in
and Lana
honor of
Quest.
the Democrats fighting
We're
back.
wearing our Democrat blue, and there has been some Democrats fighting back, and we are definitely going to talk about that tonight. But it is Lana and I were talking about the Celtics before we came on, but it is also Super Bowl week. Do you give a shit?
I mean, I do. I don't, but I do. Like it's the. I want to see Kendrick Lamar, but
I know so I've been watching the Super Bowl in the same house. Well, no, I tell you that back. With the same people, we finally moved the location, but this is going to be, I want to say, our 35th year in a row together. And watching the Super Bowl with the same people. Used to be in the same house, but we finally moved locations about 4 years ago. And all the girls, all they care about is the halftime show. All the guys obviously care about the game. And I'm a very bitter, angry person around this time because it is 51 straight years since my favorite team has won the Super Bowl. And so I hate everything and I hate every team. And it just bothers me. I appreciate Patrick Mahomes and his greatness. I appreciate
it's true.
But I get angry because it's not the Dolphins. And but I will tell you, my money 100%. I'm just going to give everybody out there just a hint as somebody that appreciates sports gambling. Put your money on Kansas City and don't think twice about it, because if Patrick Mahomes, if anything has the word championship or Super Bowl next to it and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are in it, that's where you put your money. And even if you lose, you still did the right thing. Trust me when I tell you that. I will never bet against Patrick Mahomes when he's playing in a championship or a Super Bowl, period. End of story. If you're lucky enough to watch this, to put as much money as you have on Kansas City. What's that, Lana?
I said you heard it here first.
Yep. And that it shouldn't even really be a tough one. This is something you really didn't even need me to tell you, but this is an easy one, but just in case you needed some reiteration. But again, Lana, most people are not here to talk about the Super Bowl, even though I'm sure many people are excited about the game. We are here to discuss the clown show that has been going on in our country. We already have a comment, Lana. All right, let's do the comment first, and then we'll get into the show, because this guy's already dipped. Before, I hope you're still there. Brian Taylor 2.0 says, "Hey, TDS lunatics." By the way, I want to point out TDS, in case you don't know, is supposedly supposed to mean Trump derangement syndrome. And the funny part about that is the only deranged people are Donald Trump supporters. So that really is a reflection on you. But that's you and I, Lana, for the purposes of this comment. Hey, TDS lunatics, both Canada and Mexico already folded to Trump's wishes after the tariffs were put in place. Trump is an incredibly skilled negotiator. It's literally what he's been doing for a living. I think Brian might be trolling us because there's no way he's serious. Like, literally no way he's serious. And it's funny that Brian brings that up because we're going to talk about that right now, Lana.
Okay.
All right. So Donald Trump got played really bad by Canada and Mexico. And the world is laughing at them, or laughing at Donald Trump and laughing at our country, and laughing at people like Brian Taylor 2.0 who think that Donald Trump negotiated something good and that he's a lifelong skilled negotiator, which he is one of the worst negotiators and worst businessmen of all time. But we'll get into that. Lana, I see you laughing, and you should be, like a lot of the rest of the world was. Let's do this, Lana. Let's really quick catch up everybody on what happened, and then we'll get Lana's opinion on it, if we can get her to stop laughing. So Donald Trump thought he did this incredibly grand scheme of slapping tariffs on two of our best friends, basically, China, Mexico and Canada. And he was putting these tariffs on there for whatever reason. Really, nobody even knows why. So he slaps the tariffs on there over the weekend. Now, as anybody that follows the stock market, even if you don't, a layperson probably could have told you, oh, it's going to be bad when the stock market opens. And sure enough, within the first hour, that stock market plummeted close to 700 points. Yeah. So Donald Trump, the skilled negotiator, ran to the phone and said, hey, guys, hold up. I want to make sure that people understand that Donald Trump said there will be no concessions on these tariffs. Yeah. We weren't even 24 hours into the tariffs hitting when he said no concessions. Stock market tanked. He ran to the phone. He called them, and both of them essentially agreed to something that was already in place. Lana, I know you're dying to speak about this, and we'll talk about it more, but about the details. But Lana, go ahead.
No, not even dying. It's that part. That there's a reason why Donald Trump, who is neither a Republican nor a Democrat, weighed the options. Which party is the dumbest? Which party can I just walk in and own? Republicans and Republican supporters. That's what he did. He lights fires because he's an arsonist. And then he comes in with the hose, puts it out and says, hey, look at me. I put it out. I fixed it. And MAGA Brian goes, he's the best negotiator. Remember, he said Mexico is going to pay for the wall.
Right.
Told everybody that.
Yep.
Mexico was like, no, the fuck, we're not. We're not paying for a wall. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, right?
I mean, he literally said, fuck you. I mean, the president of Mexico literally said fuck off.
Trump got on the phone and was like, hey, stop saying that you're not going to pay for the wall. Give me something. Yep. I got to give him something. That's what this is. Stock market tanked. And immediately he freaked the fuck out, called Canada and Mexico and did a PR thing to make it seem like he did something. Like you said, Mexico's like, we already fucking got troops there because we already made a deal with Biden to deploy 10,000 troops there. Like, so he made a deal for shit that we already had. There is no fentanyl coming from Canada, nor is the drug cartel or people crossing the Canadian border, because who the fuck is coming from Canada to come here? Like, that's just, no one's doing that. So he made it up.
It's 0.2% of fentanyl crosses the border. So what Justin Trudeau did is said he likes and understands the word czar. So I'm going to say that there's a fentanyl czar that's going to take care of the fentanyl that is literally not even crossing your border.
Exactly.
Not at any rate.
MAGA is too dumb to even understand that everybody knows Trump. He was already the president. They know how to push him. They know how to get what they need from him. No one's stupid except for Trump and you dumb MAGA morons. And you're right. He said, well, he calls it fentanyl. You know what? I'm just going to say fentanyl czar. Have at it, dude. Like, have at it.
They negotiated a $1.3 billion deal between Canada and the United States. It was already negotiated and put in place in December.
Already there.
Under the Biden administration.
It was already there.
So this is Donald Trump's whole tactic. This is what he's been doing his whole life. And this is why people like Brian Taylor, who certainly already dipped and has probably gone to another quote unquote liberal show and typed in another ridiculous comment and then ran out of that one. And then we also have Captain Beats, who it seems very angry about our title. It's the dumbest title he's ever seen. I don't know how old you are, Captain Beats, and I don't know how much you get out of the house, but that's the dumbest title he's ever seen. Mexico's a criminal state. And he'd say that you two are the dumbest. Well, thank you for, we like being the number one no matter what. Whatever it is, if we're number one in something, and in Captain Beats world, we're the dumbest. But anyway, Captain Beats, I hope you're listening. So this has been Donald Trump's whole life, is that he fails at stuff. But what he does is he twists it and turns it and finds a way so he can go out to the press and media and say he won. Like when he failed in all his casinos, he switched and turned it around. He was a complete failure with casinos, complete. Right. And he went to the press and said, no, this is a win for Atlanta. I mean, he would try to find a way to make a win on everything. Absolutely. Here's the big concern. Now, this time, he's not negotiating for his own companies. He's negotiating for the entire world in a sense. And just literally within 2 weeks, world leaders have now gotten the idea that this guy's such a clown that we can just say shit and he will go along with it and he will just agree with it. You know, Lana, I brought up the book Lucky Loser. There's a passage in that book about how he used to negotiate. And this is just going to, it's exactly basically what we're talking about right now. There would be a company that would negotiate him and they would finally learn that every time they would try to negotiate something, he would say, cut it in half. So they were like, okay, so here's what we're going to do. If we want $1,000, we're just going to offer $2,000. He says, cut it in half. And we'll go, okay, boss, you win. And that's how they would sucker him.
And he'd go back and brag about what a great negotiator he is.
And meanwhile, he was bankrupting everything he put his hands on. He is a clown. He never profited. He was just, and it's so frustrating to know this fact and people still thinking that he's some brilliant genius that said, I'm going to slap tariffs on Mexico and Canada. And now look at the big win. They couldn't even tell you what the win is. Yeah. They have no idea what the win is. They just heard Donald Trump say, they heard daddy say it.
You know what he will never do? Show the readout. We'll never know. We will never see a readout of that phone call ever. If he's such a great negotiator because he likes to brag, we would see that. We're not going to see the readout. Why?
Well, it might be possible we never see readouts ever again because this administration may do away with the fact that you can't even do the readouts anymore.
Absolutely.
Here comes Naomi Milos, and Naomi starting off the Naomi, whatever, starting off the sentence already, Lana, with one of their favorite words. The first one already started off with TDS. This clown is using the word cope because they only have a very limited vocabulary.
It is very limited. I'm waiting.
It is. They use cope, talk, TDS, cry harder. That's all they know. That's it.
Snowflake, what triggered. Just go get a dictionary right now. Now. Here's your homework. Not even homework. Just do it right now. I dare you to go find some synonyms for those words that you do and come back here and put them in the chat.
They cannot do it, Lana. This guy has no idea. He's going over his list right now. We just 8 Miled him. You remember how Eminem basically at the end of that movie called out the guy and did the whole rap, and the guy's like, oh, fuck, I can't use anything anymore. He can't use any of his words anymore. We've already said all of his words, and now he's fucked up and he's gone. Guarantee this fucking idiot's gone.
Oh, no, the C word's still there because they may scream that when they run away.
Well, the N word we got coming up too. You know that's coming. Yeah.
That's once you get real angry. That's when they're really like.
Yeah. Boy, we are triggering the comment section today. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to calm down, actually. And I have no problem reading your comments. I promise you, I could do this all night. But Lana and I have a show to do. So hopefully you stick around for a few minutes and you can learn something, like maybe allow something to enter into your soft, sorry brains that you could say, you know what, that kind of makes sense.
It's so funny because Milo comes back and goes, I was just looking for open dialogue. The first thing that they said was an insult to me.
It is. I mean, it's and then still has more worth value than you two put together. Of course he does. When Daddy was an actual billionaire, Of course he's going to have a higher worth than us too. I mean, if my daddy was a billionaire and gave me hundreds of millions of dollars when he died, I would have it. You know what's funny, Lana? People said that if Donald Trump had kept the money that his daddy gave him and just put it away and let it gain interest, he'd have more money now than he would had he not done anything on his own.
Exactly.
How pathetic.
But he blew it all.
Yep.
And then it's like he blows his money and then turns around and gets these scams to scam regular people out of their money. So because he didn't blew all of his money. So it's like, let me do Trump University and scam all the elderly people out of their money or whatever. Like, but MAGA said that didn't happen. That's fake news that he.
It's great. And you know what? I welcome the comments. We are going to move on the show, but I want to make sure we didn't leave out Dora88NY, who says, you guys suck. Maybe Donald Trump likes to say how great he is, but compared to what Democrats have delivered for the last 4 years, I take Trump anytime. Democrats delivered, and Joe Biden was one of the best, most effective presidents that this country has ever seen. You're not smart enough to understand that. I believe you when I tell you.
Give him 1 minute of ticking off the things because so they can leave, but they don't like facts, right? So they may leave once you start telling them what Joe Biden did because you can't deny. We were just talking about it. Donald Trump made money while Joe Biden was in office. That's how well the economy was.
You know what happens if we start rolling off facts? You know what the next 3 letters are going to be? CNN. Watch. CNN's coming. I'm telling them they're going to say CNN, and they're not even going to be able to help themselves from not being able to type it. But the last one here, I'll address this last question and we'll move on. Black and White with Brian Rundle on a honest question. Why did Kamala lose at such a huge margin? I'm going to tell you that's not an honest question because you have no idea what you're talking about. You really think she lost by a huge margin? Do yourself a favor. Go look at the margin and type in Google. Did Kamala Harris lose by a huge margin? Then come back and then we'll discuss it. But we're going to move on.
They don't know what margin is, right?
They don't.
They don't know what the margin means, right? It could be like less than a percentage point in a state. They could look at states and go margin. And it's just like when you add up the margin, it's not that large.
Lana, like you and I discussed this before.
Oh my God.
When they see the map of the electoral college map, it's like a coloring book for them. They're very simple-minded and they see red. I see lots of red. So that means he won by a large margin. They don't understand that means nothing. They don't understand that he was won by the 3rd lowest popular vote in the history of this country against a woman who only had 100 days to run.
And y'all should be a goddamn shame of yourself. Like that's not even, you can't even brag about that when you actually, it's almost like you have a 400-year head start and then complain about, I don't have enough. Like, why are people getting these things? You had a 400-year head start. Like, what's your problem, right?
Lana, people who understand history, which in this country you're not allowed to understand history anymore. History is gone. The education system is gone. Cherry picking words doesn't make you intellectual. I will agree with that, but we're not cherry picking words. We're putting words together that are intellectual. You don't understand them. You're not intellectual enough to understand. But let's see. Mexican government already gave in. Okay, these people are. I stick around, guys, because we are going to move on a little bit with the show, and I promise you we will interact with you because I know we love to interact with you. But we have a show. And we want to, Lana's dog is saying,
I know my dogs were like, what's MAGA?
Yep. Smells MAGA. Okay. Hey, Lana, you want to talk about another thing that how idiotic this guy is?
Oh, sorry about the dogs. They hear my daughter.
That's okay. I mean, it's fine. Donald Trump decided that he's smarter than everybody in California. So he ordered the Army Corps of Engineers to release billions of gallons of water from 2 reservoirs in the California Central Valley, more than 100 miles from the fires. that California withheld water. Trump claimed that California withheld water supplies that could have made a difference in fighting the flames. Now, the water released from dams at Lake Kewah and Lake Success is rushing into a dry lake bed in the Central Valley, where experts say it can't flow to Southern California and will likely go to waste. This is a quote, there's absolutely no connection between this water and the water needed for firefighting in LA. This is Peter Glick. He's a climate and hydrology expert. There's no physical connection. There's no way to move the water where it is to the Los Angeles basins. And he also goes on to say that the farmers in the basin own the water and that the water is stored in these dams in the winter during the rainy season so that farmers can use it in very hot, long, dry summer seasons. From the perspective of the farmers, he said, this will be assured to be a loss. So not only did he just waste tons of water in California, he's fucking over the farmers again, like he did the first time he was in office.
But he's so smart. He's so smart. Oh. It's like, it's just water. You just take the water and you move the water and the rain and the faucet and just the water. Like, he's just a fucking bubbling idiot. And how anyone gets it, like, he has no idea how things work, how things are connected. It's like, rake the forest, do this with the forest, and then you don't have this issue. It's like, what are you talking about? It was literally spread by winds. Like, it has nothing to do with what you're talking about. And how do you like just rake what are you talking about? Rake the forest, and then he says something about cut down, but like, how? What do you? Then it's a desert. Like, I'm so confused with just all of it.
The chat was blowing up. So there are a couple clips I want to play that I forgot to talk about when we were talking about the Mexico and Canada so-called negotiations, which are the biggest joke. That, I mean, literally this guy slapped tariffs on him, said there is absolutely no way we are budging on these tariffs. And literally 24 hours later, when the stock market crashed, he went ahead and budged.
Like, oh, shit.
Yeah, here's Charles Angus. He is the MP for Canada, and he was on with Midas Touch and basically called out the joke that Donald Trump is and how he caved and what a moronic idiot he is.
And right now, Canada's feeling we were just set to go over the boards, and Donald Trump choked. So we're really glad that we're not going into a trade war, but we're also feeling this was a moment to take this guy on. He blinked. He choked. He was 2 days ago, he was telling us that if we didn't give up our nationhood, the tariffs were going to stay on. And then we hit him with $125 billion worth of tariffs. And we started taking off the Kentucky booze off our shelves. Then we started to take off the California wines. Then we said, you're going to get another 25 billion right after that. And the market started to tank. And he suddenly said, oh, didn't you guys have a plan that was all ready to deal with the border like back in December? I love that. I'll take that. This is Mr. Art of the deal. Well, from a Canadian perspective, Donald, you seriously pissed us off. You insulted us. You degraded our nation. And we stepped up. And I got a lot of people calling me and saying, I don't want to back down now. I don't trust this guy. I've lost trust in our American allies. So, we will take whatever your 30-day grace period while you go back and deal with your other fights. But right now, Canada's still sorely pissed. And I think we're going to have to deal with this in the long term.
Two things here, Lana. Number one, they have just basically said and laughed at Donald Trump in front of the entire world and said, this guy is the clown that the people who didn't vote for him knew he was. And the second thing is they're telling the world, you guys think we are scared of him. Like, you MAGA pussy men might be afraid of him. Exactly. The rest of us are not afraid of him. We are not afraid of him.
They know the game. He only talked about tariffs because freaking he talked about it during his campaign. So it's like he just had to freaking do the tariffs. And then, like you said, he saw what we saw. MAGA, y'all saw that shit too when the economy started going blah, blah, blah. And what did he do? Got on the goddamn phone. You know who didn't get on the phone with them? Fucking China. Because they said, fuck you, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
I'm putting tariffs on your fucking ass. MAGA, y'all dumb. He playing y'all too. What y'all want tariffs? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Naomi, whatever the fuck your name is.
Namey, the 21st century paragraphs. He's well, I say he or she. More than likely it's a he, because MAGA men are the most angry, saddest, pathetic men
really
in the country. They truly are. They call this man daddy. They don't have lives. They're pathetic, weak men. So they need other men to lead them in life because they don't know how to handle their own life. And it's sad. Wives leave them. Kids don't talk to them anymore. It's sad and pathetic. And all of you are sad and pathetic losers. But
like their daddy. And which is hilarious because like this thing, 1 second. They're here supporting tariffs that will hurt American businesses. Like, make it make sense, MAGA. Y'all, this is like it don't make sense. Even
it doesn't make sense, Lana. You're 100% right. And if you guys want to keep asking us why Kamala lost, you could go back and watch plenty of our shows, and you can also subscribe to the Quest Show. I would encourage all of you idiots to go subscribe to the Quest Show, and don't come into her comment section. Just be quiet and listen and understand what she says, because you're not smart enough to deal with Lana. You're not smart enough to deal with me, and you're not smart enough to deal with anybody that's not in your stupid little bubble. Here's a guy. This guy's named Warren Davidson. He's a representative out of Ohio, Lana, and he was on with Caitlin Collins, and Caitlin just asked him, what did you get out of this? And again, just like these people in the chat, he doesn't really have an answer.
Hometowns. Everyone understands the fentanyl crisis, but the amount of fentanyl that comes from Canada is nowhere near the scale of the southern border. A lot of it comes through legal ports of entry. But on this specifically, he called this off, saying that he had won concessions from both of them. But is there a tangible concession in your view?
Yeah, absolutely. He won the concessions, and
sure.
part of
what
it
is
is
new?
Part of it is well, it's a commitment from Trudeau that wasn't there, to help with fentanyl, to help with the black market.
Well, he announced the plan.
And to secure the border.
He announced that plan, though, 6 weeks ago,
Oops.
back in December.
Well, at least he's reiterated it and formalized it. And
the old reiteration and formalized. They gotta find a way to please daddy.
Well, it was there in December, MAGA. He didn't come up with nothing new. Y'all are fucking stupid asses, and you're so pathetic. Like Brian just said, you can't even admit that your daddy is playing you. Your orange daddy's playing y'all asses. What a fucking bunch of idiots, and got to know to call other people sheep.
It's crazy, but I do need to make a very formal apology, because Angel North has been in our chats, and she is one that, and I see Baby Juggernaut popping up. So the army is forming. And I want to say thank you to Baby Juggernaut and Angel for popping in as always. MAGA doesn't have the income to pay for what is coming to them. That is absolutely true. They have no idea, and it's fine. They don't know. And Baby Juggernaut says because America is racist. There's, that's still a fact. I mean, and I don't think inherently overall it's a racist country because we have made strides, but there is still racism that hurts people in this country that it has to be acknowledged. And unfortunately, now we have an administration where these people are walking around so emboldened, thinking that it doesn't exist, and you're not even allowed to talk about it anymore. I don't even know if you saw, the NFL has decided for the Super Bowl, they are stripping, because Donald Trump is going to attend the Super Bowl, and they are stripping the words "end racism" that you find in the back of the end zones in every NFL game. They're taking that away because King Donald doesn't like it.
And that's crazy. Because again, I would say, I think that every black and brown person or non-white, don't do it. Just don't even fucking play it. I'm not going to the Super Bowl. Fuck that dude.
Yeah.
Why? Like,
I mean,
then what will we have?
you're right. I mean, because I promise you, if they decide to say I'm not playing in the Super Bowl, I know there's going to be a lot of angry people for the wrong reasons. But there's going to be a lot of angry people like, you motherfucker, can you just stay away from the Super Bowl so we can enjoy something without you being involved in it, please?
Seriously.
There's this Catherine Rampell I like, and I don't watch CNN. I really don't. But I see clips of her every once in a while. And this is one show I absolutely just cannot watch. I mean, the Abby Phillips seems like a nice lady, and she seems very bright, but she always has this panel of people on there, and they're always yelling and screaming at each other. And this Scott Jennings that everybody hates is on there, and I know he's the villain, so that's what they get everybody to tune into. But this Catherine Rampell, she made a comment that basically said what we were talking about earlier, that this is something we need to hear more and more and more and more of, just like these idiots in the chat.
Back to what Trump got for threatening a 25% tariff on Mexico and Canada. What did he get?
On Mexico, he got a permanent set of troops, not temporary, just during surges. He got permanent troops. And on Canada, let me tell you what he got. Let me tell you what he got.
She stops him.
You can't just like insert your own qualifications
Right.
into this. Where does it say that it's permanent?
The White House told me tonight that the commitment they have from Mexico is that they will
Do
put
you know how many?
permanent
Do you know how
troops
many
on the border.
troops Mexico had on the on
It
the
goes up
border
and down.
last
It goes
year?
up and down.
15,000.
It goes up and down. It's only it's temporary. So now they're getting a
Okay, let me ask you:
permanent
is
force.
10,000 more
Is
or
permanent-
less
is permanent
than
better than temporary?
15,000?
You know what's
Permanent
more?
better
You know
than
what's
temporary.
more?
Trump is trying to repackage the status quo as a
Exactly.
victory. That's what the leaders of
He
these foreign
does.
countries are learning. You don't actually have to give Trump anything.
You just have
Nope.
to make it seem like
You have
he's
to let
getting
him
something.
announce victory on TV. Second of
Exactly.
all, it's not
Exactly.
actually back to the status quo. It is worse than the status quo. As Richard points out, we have tarnished our relationships with our allies whose help we need to rein in China, which I know you care about. Beyond that, think about the additional uncertainty that's being added to the business environment right now. If you are a company and you don't know if tariffs are coming or they're not coming, you don't know if your input costs are going to go up or they're not going to go up,
That's true.
why would you invest? Why would you invest in oil pipelines, for example, to Canada? I know you really care about the Keystone Pipeline, for example.
Yeah, she's exactly right. I mean, this is all they know that they need to do is just negotiate whatever and just let Donald Trump say he can go out and claim victory. And the sad part about it is, Lana, is the people that are bombing our chat with MAGA language is they fall for this, and they know it. And they know that if Daddy says it and that we won, they're going to jump around like on their beds together and hold hands in a circle and jump around and say, Daddy said we won. Daddy said we won. And it's sad. It's pathetic. And the education system in this country has absolutely failed us.
Let's make sure that they're not rude to Angel and Baby Juggernaut, because that's
Are they talking to them?
Yeah, so that's what we don't want them.
Okay,
to do.
yeah.
Like, we got to make sure that they're not doing.
Guys, talk to Lana and talk to me. You don't need to talk to them. You don't need to talk to Angel.
I don't
You do
want
not
to
need
laugh.
to talk to Baby Juggernaut. You could talk to Lana and myself. Not to say that Angel and Baby Juggernaut can't handle themselves. Trust me, they can. But they're here to watch our show. They're not here to talk to you clowns. But
Right.
but anyway,
And Angel made a good point. Mexico actually did win because they did get a deal with Trump saying that he would make sure that the cartel wasn't getting our AR-15s because they're getting it from America. They're getting the guns from America. American guns are going over to Mexico. Like, they don't have those in Mexico. Where are they getting them from? America.
Lana, we are literally living in by far the dumbest time in American history. Like literally the lowest IQ and dumbest time in American history. And what's sad is we have more outlets to get more information than ever. And right now we are living in by far the dumbest time in American history. Next subject, Lana, President Musk. This should concern everybody. President Musk has gotten out of control. and he has stormed into the Treasury Department. He has got his hands on people's Social Security numbers. He's got
Nomi Milo needs to go. He called baby a pedophile. That needs to go.
Yep. All right. We'll see ya.
We're not doing that.
We're gonna ban this idiot. See ya.
Right.
See, guys, if you can't handle, again, you can call me. I speak for myself. You can call me whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. You don't need to be calling people in the chat names. If you can't handle, you guys keep coming in there saying, I'm trying to ask a serious question. And then you go around and you're calling people names like that. You're not here to be serious. And we know that. We know you're not serious people. And I know it's hard for you when we call out the lack of intelligence that you have. It really triggers you. And it's, because if somebody said to me, you lack intelligence, I would be as calm. And Lana, same thing. We'd be as calm as could be because we know that that's not true.
Exactly.
But if it bothers you, that should tell you something. I mean, it should probably tell you something. But President Musk, Lana, has his hands on your Social Security number, how much money you've made over the years. And this is 100% unconstitutional. I think Donald Trump even backed him down a little bit because Elon's getting a lot of press too about what he's going around doing and how he's marching into things and he's kind of taken over. Mm-hmm. And Trump even said today, well, I think it was on the international aid program that Elon Musk says he's getting rid of, and even Donald Trump backed down off of that a little bit because I think Trump is starting to see that Elon is going to yield as much power as he can take. And he's going to keep going until Trump tells him to stop. But that's where we're going to see this eventual blow up between Elon Musk and Donald Trump.
Is behind the scenes trolling Trump, telling
100%.
To look how think about it. Think about it. Do you really think that Trump, this guy right here, who has let a private citizen, Elon Musk, buy him, right? Knew how to do. He has the money. Yep. It was nothing for him to put nothing. He knew that he could do that and be right here as the shadow president. Yep. Like he knew that about that idiot. So you think that the presidents of Mexico and Canada, and you think China doesn't know what a fucking big buffoon that fool is? Like when Elon is running circles around him, like literal circles, where you have people asking Trump, what's Elon doing? Does he have permission to do that? Like Trump doesn't even know. Trump doesn't even know what today is. Like he's still talking about just the nonsense from 4 years ago. But like he's really delusional and he's barely here. Like, every press conference is worse than the last one. It's 2.5 hours of babbling spittle about this country is just on fire when I came, and it's the Biden and Obama. Oh my God. Then he just keeps going back and back. Like, go get your mans. There's something wrong with him.
He literally looks confused. He looks tired. But I will tell you one thing he will always hear and he will understand. If Elon Musk starts to get too much credit or press or anything like that, he'll always understand that. That's one thing he'll always understand. And at some point, it's going to go come back and back. But first of all, this Department of Government Efficiency, it's not even an official government agency. He's not an official government employee, and he's walking into these places and interns running around on computers looking at people's personal information, and they don't work for the government either. And I mean, first of all, where are the constitutionalists? Where are the people who are talking about the rule of law? Where are the people who are going, wait a minute, why is a guy who wasn't even born in this country, who has been on record to have continued conversations with Vladimir Putin for 2 straight years, why is he basically running our government?
Right. You can't say he's not.
What is going on?
How is he not running our government when he has access to government information? That means you are running the government.
This is insanity. And you know what, Lana? We played the clip of George Carlin before when he talked about all this stuff and people just being, in a sense, he was just saying people are just basically politically lazy. And he always had the comment, he said the comment in it a few times, nobody seems to notice and nobody seems to care. And he was saying this 30 years ago, and that has continued for 30 years. And the drip of people not caring and not noticing has now brought us to the place where we are at now. And it is going to maybe destroy the United States of America as we have always known it, as the founders, like they always like to bring up. They would be, the term, I don't really like it, but rolling in their graves right now if they heard and saw what was going on.
Yep.
They'd be losing their shit. But Lana, we have a couple of people. Get ready. I hope the trolls are still in the chat, because you are about to become seriously triggered, because we're close to turning this into the Jasmine Crockett show, because I'm in love with this woman. I've told Lana this many times. She's my girlfriend. She has no idea, though, so it's a strange relationship that we have. But first, I'm going to play, because this is what Democrats, this is a good thing that they all went down to the Treasury Department today and basically said, we're not putting up with this shit. And this is the kind of fight that we're going to need. And here's Maxwell Frost in front of the crowd giving his views on what's going on with President Musk. There it is.
A man worth over $400 billion is going to decide what happens with my grandma's Social Security check. There's absolutely no oversight as to what he's doing. What's to stop him from stealing taxpayer money? Nothing. That is why we're here as House Democrats, to hold the line and fight for our constituents.
This is fight that the Democrats are going to have to figure out how to attack from here on out, because it's just going to be a fight for the next minimum 2 years. Hopefully it's not more than 2 years. I'll get to your question in a minute, 21st century, but we hope it's 2 years, and it could be 4. And this is the kind of fight we need. But Lana, this right here, this Jasmine Crockett, I'll tell you what. See, she not only brings the fight, and Maxwell did a great job, but she also has a cadence. Like, I promise you are not fucking with me. I'm the last motherfucker you want to even try. And this is what I like. Like, it's the same thing. Like, Chuck Schumer kind of got up there, and I'm like, no. Just Chuck, go sit down and let Jasmine take your time.
Yeah, I don't know why the older ones ever do that anyway. It's just like, there's a space, a time and place, and a space for you. When we want fire, that's just not.
There almost at this point should be as much pressure for Chuck Schumer to step down as there was on Joe Biden. Although I believe Chuck Schumer's is more. That had more credibility than Joe Biden's. Joe Biden's one of the best presidents we've ever had. I know it's hard for a lot of these idiots to understand, but here's Jasmine Crockett going off on the crowd, and this will not be the only clip we play of this woman tonight.
I'm going to sit around while you go ahead and desecrate our Constitution, or you look at the laws that have been passed into law and say, never mind, we'll just ignore that. Instead, we are going to be in your face, we are going to be on your asses, and we are going to make sure you understand what democracy looks like.
We are going to be in your faces is the exact fucking attitude I want to hear every day.
On your asses.
Could you imagine Donald Trump trying to negotiate with her?
I mean, he wouldn't. She's a black woman. He's afraid of black women. That's what you mean. Why would he ever talk to her?
If there was any particular reason where he had to, I mean, it would be, I would pay hundreds of dollars to see that on pay-per-view. But that was fantastic. And I'm going to play a couple more clips of her, Lana. I'm going to get to a couple comments and then I want to move on to the next. I already see a co-parter, which is so, guys, let me tell you something. Telling people to co-parter, I promise you, it is nowhere near. What is the term the kids use, Lana? It's not the flex. You think
it is. You're actually self-owning.
It's so corny. Co-parter.
No one's crying or what. We don't even care because we already know what's going to happen right now. So it's okay.
I told you, we were forced on the Titanic. And we were like, no, we're not going on there because a fucking iceberg is ahead. We don't want to be on there, but we were forced on it. These idiots are still celebrating, think it's a great boat.
Tariff,
that's fine.
Yes, taxes.
Yep.
$20 score. Yo,
Daddy wins again by not imposing the tariffs that we said were going to be awesome for this country. And now all of a sudden he won because he pulled the tariff. These people are so fucking stupid. 21st century paragraphs says, well, what are you going to do about it, Brian? Complaining about here is like chewing bread that requires no teeth. Wow, that is a okay. First of all, you could probably chew bread with no teeth. That's probably, you might have said something, I don't know, like hard candy or something would have made more sense. But I don't even know. I apologize. I don't know what you're referring to.
No teeth bread.
Yeah, I mean, if that's one thing, if I had no teeth, bread is probably the first and only thing I'd be eating.
Mouth, right? Like you don't even have to chew it.
Yeah. Yep. Jasmine is cool, Angel, and she does have her shit together. How many views of Trump do you need before you finally get the picture? No idea what you're talking about. No idea. Baby Juggernaut says, let's go Maxwell. Maxwell Frost says it well. Where are you fighting from? Your armchair. 21st century, let me ask you a question. Are you drinking? Have you been drinking tonight? Is that
he just randomly, it's just like those MAGA that be like, you don't have a job. It's just like,
yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on. Or is this, are you old enough to, I'm not really sure what's happening.
Armchair? Like, what is that?
So this is like pro wrestling to you. No, yeah, actually I bring that analogy up a lot. This is exactly like pro wrestling because this is what you guys voted for. You voted for a professional wrestler. You didn't vote for a leader. You didn't vote for a smart person. You voted for somebody who is scripted and somebody who doesn't understand anything unless the script is given to him. And he's a bad pro wrestler. He's not even good in the ring. He's really, really bad. And he's terrible on the microphone, but to you guys, he sounds really smart. This is why Kamala Harris lost, because he convinced a bunch of really dumb people that he's smart and he's not. Chuck Grassley is 90 years old. That is correct. Lana, did you hear about the story where the inside story about Joe Rogan and Kamala Harris? You know, she was supposed to go on his show. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a new book coming out, and it is called Fight Inside the Wildest Battle for the White House. And there was an excerpt in there about how she was supposed to go on the show and that the Harris campaign started getting all these red flags from Joe Rogan. There was one where it said, they told him, said, we can go on Friday the 25th. This is Harris's deputy campaign manager, Rob Flaherty, told Rogan's associates on October 18th. And he comes back and says, wish we had known about this sooner because he has the 25th blocked out as a personal day. That's a rep from the Rogan show. Okay, well, what about Saturday morning? Flaherty countered, according to the book. Tier's response allegedly followed, only if it's before 8:30 a.m. And then Flaherty noticed the tone from Rogan's camp was now different. The same people who had previously seemed open to a Rogan-Harris interview as long as there was no topic restrictions were now less eager. The book suggests Flaherty was taking U.S. media was not chomping at the bit to interview Harris less than 2 weeks before Election Day, especially given how rare her media appearances had been. The vice president of the United States is offering to come to your fucking show, and you keep putting up more hoops. The book quoted Flaherty thinking at the time. The book added that Harris's team still wanted to make it work, but a new wariness set in. An answer seemingly emerged 4 days later. The Associated Press reported that Trump was headed to Austin on October 25th for an interview with Rogan, the supposed personal day that Rogan Camp told the Harris campaign he was unavailable for. And it also talks about how this idiot that runs the UFC, Dana White, and Elon Musk were integral in talking Joe Rogan into not allowing Kamala Harris on there.
That's how it
So
felt like, because I remember when she first wanted him to come to her, and then he was like, no, you come out here. And then she started trying to come out there. Right. And he was, yeah. So that's, but then that just goes back to, because we need to tell the people that she said no, she wasn't coming on. Right. So that's the rewriting of the narrative. And it's all about like, how the fuck do you fight people who just constantly lie all the time?
Well, the sad part is, Lana, is that was after, because what they did, one of the main reasons, you remember she had a rally in Texas and people were like, why would she have a rally in Texas?
And not go.
And they were saying,
Right.
you know, it was really the guys was, we're going there to speak out on the abortion bans in Texas, but they were out there for that time because it was close enough to Rogan's studio and they wanted to set something up to go on there. And then that's when all this nonsense happened. And so later they were like, okay, will you come to us now? Because we're out of Texas. We're no longer in Texas.
Right.
So this was a big ruse by the Rogan campaign and the people surrounding Joe Rogan to make sure that she did not go on there, because she could probably be relatable with some of the people that were listening to his show. But this was a
Trump
huge,
probably said no. Trump shuts it all down.
100%.
He said, you know,
just like the immigration bill.
Right. Exactly. Don't do an immigration bill because we don't want to fix the problem. Now he's running around like, oh, problem's fixed after 2 weeks. The border's closed. I'm like, what the fuck? Did you shut the door and lock it? Like, what are you talking about? Texas was such a big issue. Oh my God, they're all over the place in Texas. We ain't seen no ICE videos of them in Texas.
Right.
Like, what's happening? If the red states was such a bad state, how come we're not seeing it? So it's all by, again, design. Like, we know what Trump is doing. He's a showman. He needs to look. It's the blue states. They're having the issues. They suck. It's smoke and mirrors. And like, again, you call them the flying
monkeys
thing. Yeah. Like wherever he points, they go over there. He's like, no, tariffs are good. They're like, yay, tariffs are bad. Oh, boo. Like, that's how it is. Like, whatever he says, that's where
this is something he's been doing this his whole life. You remember he'd be in rallies and there would be a lot of empty seats, and he'd say the reason why there's empty seats is because there's a crowd of people trying to get in and they won't let them in. But there was never a camera. Actually, there were people when he kept saying that, they're like, other people would finally bring cameras out and go, here's the outside of the arena, and literally nobody's out there. If that was really true, why don't you think Fox News, why don't you think all these news places would be out there questioning why these thousands of people can't get into the arena? But these idiots who are in the arena, who walked into the arena and know they did not see anybody standing outside trying to get in, are clapping and still going, yeah, he's right, even though they know it's not true.
He's good as the guy, the media guy. He's got that on lock. You can't even deny that. But he does have an electorate that's really not that smart. When you clap for somebody who you just listened to with Elon Musk laughing about striking workers, something's wrong with you. Like, you're really, either you're just laughing and you didn't hear what he said, like you're not paying attention to what he said. It's just like, oh my God, I'm so happy to be here. Ooh. Or like you're really just dumb, because who does that? Because that means if he fires workers, he doesn't respect hardworking people.
Well, he doesn't.
He doesn't care.
This is the guy who's supposed to be for the working man. He literally stiffed working people out of basically their business where they couldn't afford it anymore. You know what else this pathetic loser used to do, Lana? Do you know who John Barron is?
No.
Yeah, you're about to find out. John Barron was a guy that would call the press and they would tell him, say, Donald Trump is the greatest businessman of all time, that he's a ladies' man and all the women love him. And these people, the reporters would start listening. They'd start recording it. And they'd go, listen to this. And it was John Barron on there saying, he's this ladies' man. Women are in love with him. They say it's the best sex they've ever had. They're like, this is Donald Trump calling as a guy named John Barron. We can tell it's his voice. How fucking pathetic of a human being do you have to be?
And it's so crazy because it's like MAGA and Trump, they really are the same people, because no matter what he has, the money he inherited, fucking golden toilets, all the riches, not really tangible because he doesn't have anything, he just has like the debt and whatever. He's still unhappy. He's still, he's still unliked. No fucking body likes him. None of those people, like none of the Republicans like him. They're just afraid of him because he's a big fucking bully. And just like MAGA, they got their daddy. Daddy's home.
Yep.
They're still angry and gross and deplorable and like, and just randomly calling someone a pedo. Like, who does that? Like, why? Why?
You know what the funny thing is, though, Lana? Like, you called him a bully, but again, you know who the only people scared of him are his own people. Like anytime, just like any other bully, when you step right up to his face, just like Gavin Newsom stepped right into that dude's face and basically literally talked him down to this size. This is exactly what the president of Mexico and the president of Canada just literally did to this so-called tough guy bully. He is not a tough guy. He's not a bully to people who are smarter than him. The only other people that back down to him, they might be smarter than him, but they're using him maybe to get what they want, or they literally are scared of their own jobs. They're scared of who is the guy who voted today to pass through RFK Jr. He's a literal doctor.
Yeah, he knows better.
And he said in an interview, this is the times now, because if I don't go along with the administration, then I'm going to lose my job, basically. And it's like, dude, you are a pathetic, sad human being.
Because you can go back to being a fucking doctor, right?
Yeah, exactly.
A senator and a doctor, you literally can go back to being a doctor. So you would risk Americans' lives. So
as a doctor.
Like, where's your Hippocratic oath? Like, what is talking about? I'm going to be there every step of the way. No, you're not. If they decide to do something, Senator Cassidy, you can't do shit about it. That is wild. Like, because that's all that is. And that's why Trump kind of wants Elon there, right? Let him do whatever he's doing, because Elon can throw that money. Elon could be like, oh, if you don't vote for this, Elon can say that, right? If you don't vote for this bill, I'm going to support, we're going to primary you. Like, oh, throw my money over here. Like, and he can't, because he can't give his money away fast enough. Like, it will never leave. So
that's the reason why Trump is biting his tongue as much as he can with Elon Musk, because he's got to get through 2026. If he gets through 2026 and uses Elon for his money and Elon uses him for his power, then that's exactly what both of them are doing. They're riding out 2026. And if they win either the House, the Senate, or both, then the shit show is going to start in a very, very bad way. But the egos on both of them, Lana, it's very possible that it explodes even way before, the end of this year. Forget about 2026.
Correct.
So, all right, let's get back. I told you we're going to play Jasmine Crockett. again, I want to keep because she's all over the place, and I think she's going to make sure that she is going to be all over the place from this point on. Yeah. First of all, she calls out the criminal Donald Trump, which most people should be calling out him being a criminal, because I was talking to my brother the other day about this, and I'm just like, I'm just so disturbed that we live in a country where you're just ignoring the fact, like, we just don't even care that this guy, and not only that we don't care, we're twisting the words to say he's really not a criminal because where it happened, or
the whole rapist felon. I don't.
Yeah, it's sad. And again, we talked about this, Lana and I've talked about this before. It's not genuine, because if this were somebody they didn't like, then they'd be all over it. So you can't have it one way or the other. But I will tell you,
a black man would never, ever, with convictions, felony, and be in the White House, he wouldn't even be able to be a cook in the White House.
Listen, you have to be near perfect of a human being to even be considered. That's why Obama won, because he was near perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He had to be above and beyond experience. He had to have come from Harvard, be on Harvard Law Review. He had to be a senator. Like, there's no way he could have been on The Bachelor and then become president. That's a tweet.
There you go. Write that down, Lana, so you don't forget, or I'll send it to you to make sure you don't. But here's Jasmine Crockett calling out the criminal in chief, and this is how it's done.
Well, he did say he'd be a dictator on day one. Oh, Democrats, it's just Trump. He just talks. Well, let me tell you something.
See, by the way, this is another thing. This is what I love about her, and this is what everybody needs to start doing. Stop with this, the Democrats are overreacting, or the Democrats. No, this is not about the Democrats anymore. Fuck that. In fact, you don't even have to call them fuck Democrat, fuck liberal, fuck all that shit. This is somebody trying to destroy this country versus everybody else, no matter what side you want to put it on. Fuck this Democrat shit. I am tired of that.
I do have a question. So do MAGA not like the Constitution that was written by the white men, or no?
They don't care anymore, Lana, because their daddy is telling them, guys, this is how shit is being done now, and this is how you're gonna like it. And they're gonna bend over and say, not only do I like it, I love it, Daddy. I love it. And it's sad and it's pathetic, but I am sorry to Ms. Crockett for interrupting her very fine words.
He is doing more than talking. We talked about Project 2025. We talked about the consolidation of power. We talked about how he wanted to be a king. We talked about, in a democratic republic, that is not what it is. We have some sort of checks and balances, and he is doing everything that he can to get rid of those checks and balances. The DOJ and the people that he's going after were simply doing their jobs. The problem is that Americans thought that it was okay to take a full-fledged criminal and make him the president of the United States, and then they want to act aghast when he does criminal things. Let me tell you, we have a thug in charge of the United States, and if we don't wake up, we may not have a United States, because right now he has only been successful in being a divider in chief.
Lana, this is the other thing I love. You know what she did there? She's turning the word thug around. And now we're calling you a thug, because that's what you are.
Yeah. Republicans been thugs. We saw them on the friggin' House floor fighting. Stop playing. When Kevin McCarthy and Matt Gaetz almost fighting. You got friggin' Marjorie Taylor Greene and Bobart calling each other bitches. Like, some bunch of thugs. It's like, stop playing right now. He's a master thug.
Speaking of Marjorie Taylor Greene, this clip right here, it is February, Lana. This clip right here might go down as the top clip of the year. And it's going to be hard to beat, even though we have 10 months to go.
I want to see.
My God, I might play it twice. It's so good because, Lana, again, here's the other tactic that this woman is not afraid of. She is naming names specifically here. And she's also calling out, you'll see. This clip's so fucking good. It's so good. I can't overhype it. I can't. It's just that good.
Tears. Listen, if you are competent, you are not concerned. When I walk into Congress every single day, you know why I don't feel away and why you can't make me doubt who I am is because I know that I had to work 10 times as hard as they did just to get into the seat. When you look and you compare me to Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert, there is no comparison. And that is the life that we have always lived. So the only people that are crying are the mediocre white boys that have been beaten out by people that historically have had to work so much harder. This is why they don't want us to have education. This is why they are trying to literally say we won't fund the HBCUs, because they know that if they've already gone after affirmative action and they're saying, you know what, don't allow them to come into, say, these PWIs, as we call them, don't allow them to come into these institutions. We know why they created the HBCUs in the first place. It was because they wouldn't allow us into the white institutions. And so now they're not allowing us in. And now they're saying, you know what, we're also going to defund the HBCUs. You know why? Because they don't want any more Kamala Harrises. They don't want any more Jasmine Crockett's. But I got news for them. I don't care what they do. We will fight to the end to make sure that we get our due. Because again, if you want to talk about the people that shouldn't be in this country, you probably need to look in the mirror, because the last time I checked, the Native Americans who some of ICE have been rounding up, or the Puerto Ricans who are absolutely Americans, listen, the only people that came and colonized this place are your ancestors, Trump.
I'm telling you,
and trying to colonize Gaza as we speak. It's like trying to go in there and get some land as we speak. Stop it.
That is, like I said, that is the attitude. That is we are not fucking around, and don't even think you're coming at me with your dumb bullshit. Now, obviously, I certainly don't reduce Jasmine Crockett to just her looks, but she looked incredibly good there, by the way. And I also want to say that this woman is dead on. And again, because you have educated people and you have uneducated people. Those words are going to trigger the uneducated people, and it's going to explode their minds so badly that they don't understand what just hit them. The educated people understand where she's coming from and understand why she's saying what she's saying, and she's exactly right. But God damn it, Lana, listening to her specifically mention Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert to say, you two are not even close to being in my league. And you know what? Those are two bullies too. Guess what? Those two are going to shut their fucking mouths when they're around her. They're going to try every once in a while. You saw how that worked out the first time with Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Talk about hair, your eyelashes or whatever. She's a whole attorney. And matter of fact, I think she has 2 degrees. So they can't hold a candle
to her. No, it's so good. And I love that. And again, we need, I mean, just the one Jasmine Crockett may be able to take this on herself. But, you know, I hope the Democrats follow her lead and say, hey, you know what? Maybe we do need to grow some balls, and maybe we need to step up, and we need to start thinking about doing a lot of the things that the Republicans have done for years and expose loopholes before it's too late. And it might already be, that's the sad, crazy part. But, you know, and I really wish they would have done this last year. But again, we can't worry about what they didn't do in the past at this point, Lana. We have to worry about what they're going to do from this point on. That's the attitude I want to see from everybody. You don't even have to call out your other colleagues like she does, because you may not be as good at it as she is and, you know how to handle it. But the same sort of attitude, that's what we need to see.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree.
You want to catch up on a couple of comments, and I got one last clip to play. 21st Century is still here. I'll give it to you. You're still here. Even though your comments have been very bizarre and I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh no, he's not here. Angel says, do they even know it's in the Constitution? Besides we the people. I'm not even sure they know that, Lana. Kenny MC is new to the chat. Surely he's already dipped because he has said, what is this joke of a YouTube channel? LOL, fake news, woke media. So he's checking off. He's checking off the MAGA checklist of the limited vocabulary of words that he knows.
He got 2 of them. Kudos to you, Kenny. Fake and woke in the same sentence. Yay.
Yeah. I mean, Cope and Cry Harder will probably be in the next one. If you aren't, he might be erasing it now. He was probably typing that.
Daddy would be proud.
Yeah. Who are these fucking idiots? Do you think Mike is talking about you and I? Or the clips of the people we were playing earlier? Or
he may be talking about Kenny.
Maybe he's talking about Kenny. Kenny, Mike just called you out and asked, who is this fucking idiot? We don't know, Mike. We don't know who Kenny is, but you're right. Kenny is a fucking idiot.
Up with the Kenny MC, and then we had the DJ Beats or somebody up in there. Like, is it the same person?
And who dat fam? I have no fucking idea. I'll admit I'm an older guy. Maybe this is like a young person thing, emojis that you're putting in there. But I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And my guess is that I don't really care. Lana, do you care?
No, let's play the next clip. Celtics are on.
I know. We got to get to the Celtics game. All right, Lana, last one. I saw this today and I'm like, no. So this guy I can't stand. I just can't stand this guy. He is like the sports version of Joe Rogan, him and like the Pat McAfees of the world. But Stephen A. Smith, he's for some reason in his brain, he is like literally in the top 10 most popular people in the country. I mean, I think he literally thinks that. If you ever see him before an NBA game, especially a Knicks game, and they show him, for some reason, they show him walking, like the players. You know how they show the players walking into the locker room off the bus? Well, they show him, and he's walking like he's LeBron James, like he's going to go into the game. This guy, I heard this clip today, Lana, and I'm just like, no, please make this stop. We've got to find a way to make these people stop thinking that they are more important than everybody else. Here's Stephen A. Smith almost insinuating that he's so fed up with the Democrats, and if they don't get their act together, he's going to straighten them out. And that I want to say that he's almost implying that he's going to run for president.
I'm going to call it like I see it. I've been doing that for my entire career, and damn it, I ain't stopping. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm in the best health I've been in 25 years. If you thought I wasn't going away before, you have no idea how the hell I'm not going away now. I'm just getting started. Mr. Trump, President Trump, I'm sorry.
Oh boy, sorry, President Trump.
I don't like what I'm seeing in some cases, bro. I don't like what I'm seeing. Democrats pounce on them. If you don't, I'll find somebody who will.
No,
or I'll do it my damn self.
Talking like this.
I'm going to give President Trump all the credit in the world when he deserves it. And I'm going to call him out when he deserves it too. That's how it's going down on this show. Get used to it.
Oh my God.
Because I'm coming.
Oh, that's what it sounded like. He sounded like he was coming.
Right. Yeah, like literally.
Yes. I'm embarrassed for him.
And I apologize because I played that after Jasmine Crockett. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most cringy, where do you rate that on the scale, Lana?
Oh man, that was like 100 and cringe. That is disgusting. Why was he talking like he was in some type of Ron Jeremy porn movie? Ew. I'm coming for you.
Because Lana, again, we have developed a media in this country now where everybody, the reporters, the journalists, the sports reporters, they think they're more important and bigger than the actual politics and the actual sports. And it's now become, this is why a Donald Trump can win the presidency. This guy thinks he is way more important than he is. And unfortunately, there are some people that put in his brain that he is the most important voice in America right now.
Well, he needs to tell his barber that so his barber can hook his hairline up, because that shit's whack. Like, what is happening, Stephen? Like, it's crooked. Like, you're going to have a hairline, at least have one that's straight across. Like, if that's what you're going to do, at minimum, get your barber to put his glasses on, because that's crazy.
You know, your response was appropriate. You laughed throughout the entire thing. And it was just, it's painful to listen to. And I apologize to anybody that had to sit through that. But this is where we are now in this country. And that's what concerns me. We're in a point now where you think it's clownish now Donald Trump is the president. Like, the stupidity of this country is, it's cool now, Lana. It's cool to be stupid. It is cool to be stupid in this country, and people wear it on their sleeves with the utmost amount of pride. And unfortunately, stupid rules, and we're in big trouble. But anyway, we're going to wrap up the show. Lana, close us out. Give us some words of wisdom.
Hey, you know what? I don't know. At least the Democrats are fighting back. I just hope we just stay focused on what we need to do and just continue to call out Elon Musk. Like, keep pitting Elon and Trump, make them bump heads.
Keep calling him president. Do not stop that.
Exactly. Keep calling him the president, you know. And honestly, this really is serious business. So let me flip that. If you are listening, please call your lawmakers.
Yeah.
Senators, call your congressmen, call them and tell them that you don't like what's going on. Because if you're not getting Social Security, then your freaking auntie is, or your grandma is, or your ma is. Like, somebody's getting it. Like, this is the beginning. Like, it's coming, right? Because even if Elon does not steal money, because he has money, but what they can also do is fuck shit up, right? Yeah. Like, it's just, they don't know what they're doing. There are going to be holes and gaps. And I heard someone say today, you know, they're in these systems. They know what they're doing because China is always trying to, you know, hack into the federal government.
Right.
So if you get rid of the federal workers and put people in who don't know what they're doing, like children right out of high school, China is, like, again, like we keep saying, we're not joking. Russia and China are happy right now because
thrilled.
Trump is making their jobs so much easier. It's like he's working for them. Like, he just is. Nothing can go right with this much chaos. So that is a good thing. It actually is a good thing for Democrats, because you can't just keep putting all these executive orders, just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And like, things are just going to be moving like clockwork. But that's not how this is going to happen.
It's not, but you know what? It's strategy. It is Steve Bannon's strategy of flooding the zone with shit. You know, there's probably 10 other things we could have talked about on tonight's show, but there's just so much that you can't keep up with everything. So the Democrats have to pick and choose which battles they're going to take. And I think what they're doing, Lana, is some of the things like the ending the birthright citizenship is, I'm not even really sure Donald Trump cares about that. I just think he is wondering what the Supreme Court will do. And if they say you're okay with that, that now opens up the door to so many other things. And that's where the concern is.
Right. But they can't chase the things that were never popular with the people. They can't. So, for instance, right, they can't be out in front of friggin' the U.S. aid department talking about let us in on TV because nobody gives a fuck about that. We understand why it's important. The regular average person does not care about that. They care about their aid. They don't care about what America is giving other people because they're going to say there are homeless people who need help here. We get it, but that's a side burner right there. And Trump will do all these side things to get us unfocused on the big picture. And the big picture really is a private citizen has control of the federal government right now in all of our things, and we never voted for him.
Lana, a private citizen who is not born in this country, who has ties and is in bed with China and Vladimir Putin. He has a regular conversations with Vladimir Putin. Like, what are we doing? Like, how are people not stop? Even if you're a Trump supporter,
people don't get that part. We get that part. We get that part. That's almost something that
I wish we didn't, to be honest. I wish we were stupid.
I know, but the lawmakers know better. But the average voter doesn't know. They don't care that far, right? And they get as far as they have our Social Security and stuff. They don't give a fuck about the Putin China. They don't care about that. And Democrats got to learn to speak the average person or the low information voter like Jasmine does, because when you get into the weeds of what the USAID does and how it back channels and it helps, they don't care. Just like we tried to explain why we help Ukraine.
Right.
We're not giving Ukraine money. We're making the weapons here, and we're actually getting paid, right? Like, so the money comes back. They couldn't get that. So
nope,
we can't do that.
They also don't understand that it's not a check that's being written. They don't understand that it has to go through Congress first. And Mike Johnson is the leader of the House, and he is the one who approves it in the House first. They don't get that. You know what else they don't get, Lana? This is like, I heard somebody bringing this up, the USAID thing, where Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, and then Donald Trump has repeated this a few times, that they have given $50 million in condoms to Gaza. And I read into that. I was like, first of all, this doesn't even make any sense. That you're in a country where they're not even really, are they even allowed to use condoms over there? So I looked into it, and there's no proof of it. You know what they think it is? There's a province in Africa called Gaza, and they saw that. And of course, there's an AIDS epidemic over in and they mixed up the two Gazas. And so this is either a department that is so dumb that has no idea what they're doing, or they understand how to use the language. It says Gaza. Who gives a fuck? We don't have to point out that it's a province in Africa.
Because MAGA will never research it. Will never research it. They will just say, well, Biden gave millions of dollars in condoms. Like, it doesn't make sense because it's not true. Like, that's so asinine. You got to think like, no, this can't be true. Like, even the staunchest MAGA, if you heard that Biden was given $500 million in condoms to Gaza, something in your brain should click like, no, that doesn't
make sense.
Maybe it was 5,000. Like, something should just click to say, no, something's not right here. But y'all dumb motherfuckers are like, well, Trump said it.
Yep.
Gotta be true.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gotta be true. The windmills must cause cancer because Trump, he said that. So that's true.
And again, they repeat it. Not only did they repeat it, Jesse Waters went on his Fox show to say that they were taking those condoms and they were floating them across the river so they can use them to build bombs with them.
Yes, because Trump said it.
This is fucking insanity. That this is
like,
insane.
how do you make bombs with condoms? Like,
listen,
what kind of fucking condoms are those? Like, what are y'all talking about?
None of it matters, because all that matters is that the flying monkeys have to believe it. And the flying monkeys, I mean, literally fly into mountain after mountain after mountain, and they don't care. They're like, who's the cartoon character that Bugs Bunny kept fucking with? That's who they are. And their Bugs Bunny is is like Trump and all the, like, the right wing propaganda media is Bugs Bunny. And who is it? Wile E. Coyote. He would always fuck with that poor coyote. He would draw on a big mountain. He would draw a door to make it look like it was a door, and he would go act like he'd go through it. Wile E. Coyote would fall for it every fucking time and smash into the goddamn fake door. I can't stand these fucking people. I can't stand them. Oh my God, I can't stand your stupidity. Somewhere in life you have to be a nice person, like somewhere. But your stupidity, I hate.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it either. I don't get the blindly following. Like if Biden ever said that Trump sent Gaza $500 million in condoms, I would be like, what the fuck is wrong with Biden? Like literally I'd be like, the fuck is wrong with Biden? Like I would think that he had a problem.
And it's making smart people like me and you having to literally
talk about condoms.
$50 million in condoms. That doesn't, what does that mean? But for you and I, we actually go look and find out what the real story is.
Exactly.
And then we go, oh my God, these people are so dumb.
Look it up. We're not just saying the shit, Trump is lying. When he says something, we actually look it up to make sure that it is he telling the truth or is this they don't do that. It's not even
I take no pleasure in calling them dumb, and I wish they weren't, because this actually it angers me and it frustrates me that people are just this gullible, like grown adults. Even we talked about this before. Even if you have an 8th grade education, you should still be able to see through this, but they don't, and that's okay. But here's what you can see: the Quest show. Lana may not be there Thursday night.
May not.
Might be. She may not. But there's plenty of shows you can catch up on. She did a great show last week. I always encourage people to please subscribe to the Quest show. And you could find that on YouTube. We always ask, do we always ask too late to hit the like button and subscribe? We do have it scrolling, so hopefully they read the scroll once in a while during the show.
Like and share and subscribe.
But please subscribe. Everybody that is, should we read this bandit comment? Oh my, if Canada wants to keep firing $1.4 billion salvas at America to help secure the border, we're good with that.
Secure what border?
I don't know. I don't know.
Canadian border from what?
I think they're talking about the fentanyl thing. That is 0.2% of fentanyl that comes across this country. They seem very interested in things that literally almost have no existence, like transgender people, fentanyl. I mean, they're obsessed. They're obsessed with it.
Okay, so again, with the fentanyl, yes, it comes not across the Canadian border. Yes, it is a big problem. But why y'all pretending to care about it?
I don't know.
Donald Trump pardoned the fentanyl kingpin that was selling the shit on Ross Albright. Y'all okay with that, MAGA? So, is it okay for Ross to sell fentanyl and for your daddy to pardon him, but it's bad if it comes from somewhere else? Like, I'm confused with y'all's thinking and how you justify this shit. Because if you're fucking against fentanyl, be against fentanyl everywhere, across the board.
Right.
Not if J6, if they got arrested selling it, it's okay. Or if Ross and Trump pardoned him for selling it, it's okay. But oh my God, it's coming across the border. Put the tariffs. Like, y'all are fucking stupid. That's why.
Yeah, go ahead. You're right.
I was just gonna say, like, that's why we keep saying it's like it's past gullible. You guys are you're being willfully ignorant because you fucking know. Because the bottom line is, and we kind of dance around it here, is y'all just fucking want to hate. That's just
exactly what it is.
Half of you aren't even this stupid or gullible. You just don't fucking want to like people. You don't want to like black people. You don't want to like brown people. You don't fucking care about women. You don't fucking care about kids. You just want to complain about shit, and you don't give a fuck about people dying, people being human trafficked, fentanyl. What the fuck? Just shut up. It's just
I'm not even adding to that. That is exactly right. That's exactly what it is. You are correct, Lana. Period. End of story. That's it. That's it. You're exactly right. So anyway, based on that, because she is exactly right and she just nailed it, hit the subscribe button now. We're going to ask you to subscribe. Even the trolls in the chat, subscribe so you can come back and troll us again with these incredibly witty, very impossible to answer comments that you make. And when I say impossible answers, because they're incoherent, not because they are hard to counter. But anyway, Lana, you're the best. Thank you, as always.
Angel and Juggernaut for dealing with
Of course, I would say always to Angel. In fact, I think the last show I forgot to say thank you to them before we signed off the air. That is my fault. Thank you to Angel. Thank you to Baby Juggernaut, as always. And thank you for everybody else that joined the chat. We always welcome the chat people, regardless of what side you're on. You know, and Lana and I would never mind having like an actual conversation, but, you know, we don't deal with cope and cuck and cry harder and TDS and nonsense like that. So, but anyway, thank you for joining. Lana, thank you. And we will see everybody on next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Go Celtics.
Go Celtics. Bye,
Good night,
Angel.
Lana.
Bye, baby.
Bye, Baby Juggernaut. Bye, Angel.